All right, here we go. People ask me, am I scared? Am I so sure? Am I prepared? But that's what keeps me up at night. People talk like I must be dumb. I'll let you down. Well, it's always done, but that's not what keeps me up at night. No, that's not what keeps me up at night. I've been trying for an hour, every night for maybe two. Now the sun is at my window, burning, burning bright. I rise wide open, I bet you could see I have the things that you
All right, so here we are, the four members of the main lineup of Terrible Things.
Yeah.
The first time we've actually been together, even though it's virtually right now, in 11 freaking years. Good to see you guys. How are you?
Doing great.
Stupendous.
Great
I got,
to see you doing good.
Josh Eppard to my left, the drummer. You may know Josh from, of course, Coheed and Cambria, but he's way back when he was playing with us. I got Andy, caddy corner to me, Andy Jackson, from Hot Rod Circuit fame and just being a badass guitarist front man. And below me is Brian Weaver. What's up, Brian?
What's up?
Brian
Good
has
to see you
done
guys.
all kinds of he's a bass extraordinaire. I don't know if do you tell people are you allowed to say that you played on the Paramore record at this point?
Sure.
Wait.
I mean, I have it like hanging up like right
There you go, Riot.
Wait a
Yeah.
second. Brian, I forgot that, dude.
Yeah.
Brian, you are a badass, dude. Fuck, man, that is awesome.
Thanks, man.
So we're just talking virtually right now, but we are playing a show together. Playing a show together November 18th, Friday night at Underground Arts in Philly. It'll be our first show together. We're opening for my other band, The Color Fred. Andy Jackson's also going to play acoustic, which is pretty freaking sweet. And we got Philly locals Amora, who are on my record label, Heading East Records. They're playing as well. So real quick, I wanted to just talk about the very beginning of the band because we made this album together and it came out in 2010. But basically, I started making this record with Elgin, who was just a producer recommendation through a photographer, Ryan Russell. I went down there and I thought I was making whatever the next Color Fred was going to be. But while I was there, I played an acoustic show in Montgomery, Alabama. I don't remember the venue. Maybe
It was,
you remember.
off
Andy.
the wagon. Off the wagon.
Oh, yeah. And Andy happened to be there that night and came up to me after my set. And he's like, you know, I never realized how much of a badass you are on guitar.
That's good, Andy. You did a good Andy.
I love your Andy impression. Holy cow. It's like there was two Andys all of a sudden.
So anyway, Andy and I on that night got contacts and kept talking, decided to do this project together. Played with a few other guys. Eventually Andy was like, we got to get someone on our level to play drums, somebody, you know, with as much, you know, experience. And Josh was top of the list. We had we called him, and I think we called the guy from At the Drive-In as well.
Yeah.
And within a week we had Josh down. Do you remember?
Well,
you surely remember the first rehearsal, right, Josh?
Oh, I remember that, and I remember Mike Todd from Coheed calling me and saying like, "Hey, dude, I saw Fred," because we all knew each other from touring. Fred's interested in like playing with you and being in a band. Are you into it? And I was like, oh yeah, totally. But in typical like musician fashion, I thought this meant like, I don't know, over the next year or so. Yeah, we'll get together at some point. And then Mike calls me, and I'll never forget it. I was standing outside at that Adams Station apartment where I put you all up when we came through town, and it was freezing cold. And Mike was like, yo, you got to call Fred, like right now, dude. Like this shit is happening. I was like, oh, okay. And I called you, and you know, I had I don't want to like get overly deep or try to be like overly poignant here, but you know, the path that my life took, if it wasn't for that phone call, my life would be just exceptionally different. I don't know what it would look like right now, but I get the feeling it sure as hell wouldn't look like this, and it wouldn't look very good. And that phone call set forth a lot of events that really shaped the future of my existence. So in quick fashion, I head out to Philly. Mind you, I don't have $1 to my name. So I'm on like a Greyhound bus out to Philly, and I get to Fred's house and we're jamming, but I'm like, well, the last thing I want to do is blow these guys' ears out. We're all standing in a tiny room. So I'm playing like quiet. I'm just trying to feel the song.
Yeah, I had really talked you up to Andy, and not that Andy wasn't aware of Coheed, but you know, I'm like, this guy, this guy brings it. And you're like tapping the drums like this.
Yeah, I bring it so hard. I've got a long history of guys telling me to quiet the fuck down. Like, so I'm like, well,
forever like hit the fucking drum.
Yeah. Fred was like, hey man, you kind of changed your style. I was like, oh no, I didn't. Check this out, motherfucker. But like, honestly, you guys, that was me respecting you guys as professionals. Every professional outfit I worked within early on, you just feel the song quietly so everyone can hear. Then when you got it, you bash it. You guys wanted to go full bore, so
we
I
were
went
like,
full bore. Yeah. No,
like,
you guys
sing. Like,
you
I know
guys
how
wanted
you play.
Yeah,
And
you
you're
guys
like,
wanted to rock.
That's okay. You're like, we got the people upstairs. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Fucking play.
Yeah.
And then you fucking slayed it, and we were like, yeah, this is what we were looking for.
Yeah, you guys wanted to rock. And I remember also being really nervous. And I remember after playing for like half an hour, I said to you, Fred, I was really like a shell of myself. I hadn't played with anybody and I was really scared. And I said, Fred, to be honest, I think I was about to cry. And I was like, Fred, are you having second thoughts? And you went, what? Dude, no way. And you gave me like a hug, but you still had your guitar on and you gave me a hug. You were like, no, man, I'm happy you were here. And I could never properly thank you for your kindness. And that said, oh man, I'm home. Oh, this is where I belong.
I do remember the next phase was to go to Andy's old studio, which was pretty badass on itself. You were a builder far before I was. Building out that whole freaking house.
Yeah, that place was crazy.
And who was playing bass at that point?
It was still Steve Lucarelli.
That's right.
Yeah, he with us. That's right.
We all went there and we demoed out some of the songs and had a really good time doing it. That's the time where I was like, again, like really kind of spotlit. This is where I want to be. That was a fucking great time. That didn't have to work, you guys. Plenty of times. Four guys from 4 different bands get together and it doesn't work. Fred would talk about this guy, Brian, who, his resume speaks for itself, but like this was the guy to get. And Brian, I got to ask you, man, like, I'm curious, like Terrible Things was handled like a real punk band. We were in a van fucking, we putting in the road miles, like for real. With your pedigree, was there ever a time that you were like, not that it's beneath you, and I don't mean it like that, but like you fucking played on the Paramore record. Like you have this like skill set that had like your reputation preceded you and you were thought of as this big get, but you were fucking totally down. You hopped in the van and rocked. Like,
it's not like I'd never done a van tour before. It was great. And I thought you guys were a great band. So and I'd been talking to Fred for a few years before that. And it just so happened, like when you guys started doing Terrible Things, I was busy with another project.
Yeah, I remember him telling us that. Yeah,
I couldn't do both at the time.
Yeah.
And then that other project kind of fizzled. So then I called Fred. I was like, "What's going on? Like,
Yeah.
like what's going on with the?" And he's like, "Actually, like,
Yeah,
we're about to hit the road, you know."
I remember more from those touring days than I do like the last 8 years of touring with Coheed. And that's not like to disparage Coheed at all. It's just in Coheed, the days become fairly routine. A lot of the dressing rooms look alike. A lot of the days look alike.
Yeah.
You don't know what city you're in because you're on the outskirts in some fucking shed somewhere, and you don't ever. But Terrible Things was like adventure all the time. Like,
Yeah.
where the hell are we gonna sleep tonight?
Yeah.
Driving around at 4 a.m, and Fred's hotel budget hadn't changed from like 1992, so we're trying to find like a $40 room. And y'all remember I used to just sleep in the van?
You did that like every day.
Yeah,
You're like, I like the van.
I did though. That's what's fucked up. I missed that. I miss sleeping in a van. There was that one night in Wisconsin, and it was like for real Arctic temperatures. It was like, I don't know what the temperature was, but it was like scary cold. People probably died level cold. And you guys are like, bro, you can't sleep in the van tonight. And I was like, I don't know, guys. I think I can. I remember the last thing Fred said to me was, dude, if you start freezing, come in the room. And I was like, I will, Fred. Like, if I'm dying out here, I'll come into the hotel room. But I made it. I had my sleeping bag. I used to build a little fort, and I just like, you know, I was too poor to have an iPad.
You had your DVD player.
Yes, yes. I loved that.
Bag of DVDs.
Dude, you know what was so great?
Flip up DVD player.
And I treated it like it was like a part, it was like a vital organ. Like that was the most important thing to me. But the greatest part about that is there's no selection anxiety. Once you pick a movie and you pull it out of the sleeve and you put it in the DVD player, it's not like Netflix or Hulu or Amazon where you could just a click of a button and pick something else. You have to watch that movie. And I discovered so many great movies that I probably wouldn't have given the time of day because that wasn't my DVD collection. It was Dennis's. Dennis would pick.
Oh, wow.
Yo, how the hell is Dennis not here? Dennis should be here.
Who had I'm sorry, hold on.
Oh my
God.
Wow. That was amazing.
What's up, dude?
What's up, guys?
On cue.
It's Den.
Den's at work. Dennis, are you at work right now?
I'm at work, yeah. I can't really hear. I don't have headphones, but I'm trying.
Oh, man. Dennis, I just said, I was like, yo, how the hell is Dennis not here?
I was like, dude, that's a perfect segue into let's bring Dennis on. Yeah.
Yeah. That's about as good as it gets. That's awesome. Anyway, it was
Yo, don't knock
Dennis's.
the movies either, because that's all you had.
I
And
know.
don't forget Happy Feet was the best one in there.
Oh. And Dennis, let's make one thing clear. I talk about your DVD collection all the time. I would never knock it, dude. I saw so many movies in there that I would have never watched that I adore now. And I have you to thank for that. I remember one tour, you didn't bring your DVD collection. It took me like 3 days to get over it. I was so upset because I said to you before we all met up, I said, you got your DVDs, right? And you were like, yep, I got them. And then you must have left them behind and didn't bring it. And that's probably why I was buying DVDs from the gas station because Dennis didn't bring it.
They were in Fred's basement at the time. Yeah, I forgot him in the Fred's basement when we loaded up.
No, dude, I owe you a lot. People ask me like, why? How did you get into that movie? And a lot of times I reference your DVD collection. So I'm like eternally grateful to you for that.
And my CD collection.
That not quite as grateful, I got to be honest. Not,
The iPod Shuffle.
No, but remember, Dennis, your favorite artist is Tom Petty. And what your favorite Tom Petty song was?
Life
Life is a highway.
Yeah.
Life is a highway.
Wait, isn't that him? No.
Yeah, we love that. Fred kept asking you, wait, Tom
sure?
Petty's your favorite artist and your favorite song by him is Life. The joke is that Life is a Highway is not a Tom Petty song.
Well, hold on. That wasn't in my defense, it wasn't my favorite. But no, I swear to God, I thought that was his song.
You know what, dude? Honestly, I could get
it's on the Cars soundtrack. It's got to be Tom Petty.
I could see thinking that is
It
Tom
was
Petty,
Tom
honestly.
Cochran.
Speaking of bands, did anybody check out that Travis's new band, that
Dunes?
LS Dunes?
Pretty badass. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. Like,
It was better than I thought it was going to be, honestly.
well, you never, dude, I kind of feel a kinship with Travis because, like, you know, Terrible Things was called like this indie rock supergroup, right? That's like the tag we got. And like, you know, that our record gets brought up a lot more in the last like 3 years than ever before. It's just like, Claudio's Guitar Tech, it's like one of his favorite records, but he was like a very kind of emo indie guy. But like, the more time that goes on, the more kind of, I think maybe revered is the word, that record becomes. And I think it only magnifies its sexiness, for lack of a better word, to people, is that commercially it didn't land with a big explosion. It was this thing left there for people to discover on their own. And I think that records are really important to a lot of people. That kind, like,
It sounds so good too. Like,
I know,
now
I
it's like,
fucking
holy
know.
shit. I mean,
Jason Elgin, man.
Dennis, can I put you off and you can keep listening?
I'm just gonna. I'll watch it later. Here. Sorry, I gotta close up. We're 3:00 close time.
Yeah,
so
I feel
let me
like,
get my shop closed up.
Dennis, I
I'll see
love
you
you.
guys
You're
in like a
literally
week.
at work. I love that.
Dennis, it's good to see you, man. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
I'll see you guys in a week or so. Yeah, love you
Later.
all.
Take care, brother.
Yeah.
Later, Dan.
See you,
Peace,
bitches.
Later.
One of my favorite memories is when we drove to Dawson's Creek.
Dawson Creek, Canada.
Like 2-day drive of nothing.
Oh
but
my God.
Airs and shit.
Shit was
and then we
hell,
get to this
dude.
place and there's like thousands of people there. It was like fucking crazy, you know?
Yeah, what that was the most beautiful drive I've ever done, man.
Yeah, that was
One of
awesome.
the most memorable drives I've ever had in my entire life.
Remember all
Me
those
too.
like waterways that we'd see that looked like they'd been barely ever touched by man, and like I felt like this is an extreme example of what I mean when I say I remember things from when we all toured together. That like we never had to do a 2-day drive in a van with Coheed where we're seeing. Remember we saw a moose on the side of the road, a fucking moose. That remains the lone moose I've ever seen in my life, by the way.
yeah.
Motherfuckers don't
For
see
real.
moose when we travel with Coheed, but that was what a beautiful dude. That story
That was
it's
insane.
unbelievable because I mean that. I tell people that story and I can tell they don't believe me. It
Yeah.
sounds like unbelievable. They question the legitimacy of Dawson Creek, Canada. Number one.
No, it was
Every time.
I tell people it was mile 1 of the Yukon Trail, which I believe takes you up to Alaska.
Yeah.
We left Vancouver and drove 24 hours north. And I
Yeah.
didn't even know there was 20 hours north in
Me
Canada.
either. Yeah,
I
that's
thought it was like a
Nobody
4-hour
does.
drive to the end
I
of
didn't even
Canada.
know Dawson's Creek was a real place.
Yeah, why would
It's a
why
TV
would
show.
you? Yeah.
I was trying to think of other memories, and I was thinking about the San Diego fireworks night.
Oh, on the beach when we all ended up like in La Jolla.
Yeah,
Oh my
me
God.
and
I told
Andy
that-
ran from the cops.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's right.
I think I'm still picking cactus out of my ass.
Shit, I forgot about that till you just mentioned it, dude. That's interesting when your brain pulls the file. Holy cow, I
I
totally
always
forgot about
describe it
that.
as like when I'm describing where we went, you know, like it was like Lord of the Rings.
That's amazing.
Like
We just
two
start
mountains.
climbing up a mountain into the
Yeah.
hills. I'm like, I'm not getting arrested with these people.
How the hell did we find ourselves there? What happened that we went there?
One of the opening bands, the drummer's uncle owned like a fireworks depot, and he brought all these fireworks. He said, "We're going down to the water to set these off." And,
That's right.
and May was going. It was the May tour.
May.
And we went down, and when they started shooting it off, and of course it was all these big oceanfront mansions here,
Yeah.
guns going off basically, and call the police.
Yeah, you
Oh,
know
shit.
the house. You guys remember the house when you're standing on the beach? The house to the right, that was Tony Robbins, which was actually Michael Jackson's old house.
Oh,
shit.
Oh, is it really?
that's where we were. I do
Yeah.
remember the Tony Robbins thing. It was an insane house. Holy shit.
I don't even remember like where we went or like how we got away from them. Like that, like I remember the cops coming, but I don't remember like what we did when we figured out the cops.
Me
were
and Fred actually climbed a fucking mountain.
Yeah. We just hid. Josh was like, I ain't running. I didn't do nothing wrong. I'm not
Yeah.
afraid. And I was like, I'm out, dude.
Did I end up talking to the cops? I had
Yeah,
like
you
a
just
vague.
were like, you were just talk to him. You were like, yo, I didn't do anything wrong. So, you know,
Do you guys remember coming back through the border, coming back into America? And they like, I remember that's like the true border horror story of my life. And like, they sit me down alone and they separated all of us. And they're like, let me ask you a question. Is Fred your friend? And I was like, yeah, what do you mean? He's like, are you going to go to jail for Fred? And I was like, what? He's like, where's the weed? I was like, dude, there's really no weed. Are we the only band that's ever come through? We're a band. Like, if anyone did have weed, it's probably in their pocket. We're not. They thought we were. They must have got. Think about that, dude. They must have got a tip or something that like a bunch of rock-looking dudes were coming through with a shitload of weed, or they just were tripping on their power, which is totally feasible. But like, that was insane. Dude.
Yeah,
that was really crazy. Oh, at least, dude. They made us pull everything out. They separated us and interrogated. Brian, were you with us at that point?
I don't think I was with you guys at that point because I remember going to Canada with you, but nothing like that.
I think it was Jake on that one. Jake was on that one.
If we sat here all day, dude, I'd probably have a never-ending terrible things memories.
Yeah.
Like,
no kidding.
And a lot of little things. I have this saying: you don't pick what sticks. Like, I have things that I actively tell my brain to remember. This is important. Remember this. It's gone the next day. And then like some seemingly benign thing, somebody chirps at me one like random night, just lives in my brain forever. I can't pick what sticks, but a lot of them are that Story of the Year tour. For some reason, I just have a lot of memories from that tour. The May tour, that was a good run for us.
I totally forgot about us dressing up for Halloween until I saw that picture.
I had zero recollection of it still. Like, I still don't remember that. But
I remember, like, after seeing it, I do remember us going to Walmart because we were like, we should dress up. And we were like in somewhere like Omaha or something like that.
I think it was Omaha. I think it actually was Omaha.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's funny. I'm really excited to come to your neck of the woods, Fred, to hang, play some music. I won't be super rusty since I just got off tour because I'm known to get off tour for 6 months and like play the drums once.
I got a hot rod show next week and I haven't rehearsed.
Yeah. So now that we've been on Earth for as long as we have, music can really be a time machine. Now, it always is for anybody that puts on a song from when they were a kid, and it's like nostalgia that can almost, it makes your hair stand up or whatever. But playing music that you played, it's almost like you said about Wrap Me Up that you couldn't remember it. It's because you were a different player. You were a different version of yourself. And all of us together have to become our younger selves. I listen to like Hills of Birmingham, and it seems like a simple song, but it's so outside of what I do and what I've been doing for the last 11 years that like I have to literally become my younger self. And that's an exciting notion. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys.
For me, like, you know, I always like, you know, being a songwriter and singer, like I'm mostly playing chords.
Yeah.
And, you know, you start playing with Fred, who's a fucking badass. And, you know, I have to attest, like, Fred made me a better guitar player because I had to become a better guitar player to play with Fred, you know, like
you're a great guitar player.
When I start listening to this shit, I'm like, holy fuck, what the fuck are we doing? You know, because we were just like battling each other basically.
Yeah. I mean, I'm relearning Not Alone, and I'm like, holy shit, we sang and played this shit.
Yeah.
My wrists hurt thinking of playing Not Alone. And I remember Elgin saying, he's like, we're going to speed this song up.
That part right there.
The bridge.
Played is over.
Exactly.
We're going to jam right now.
Yeah, I got to play.
Is over.
But of course, I'm not playing that. I'm playing like.
You're playing a different part, right?
You know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we're in the same tuning, but
I got my shit, man.
Oh yeah, Andy's fucking, Andy's
ready
fucking
to go.
ready, dude.
I've been ready.
Do you guys?
12 years.
And Fred, you're going to be doing 2 shows, right? Because you're going to do a Color Fred show as well.
yeah, we're doing the first album in its entirety, and then a couple songs at the end.
Jeez
So
Louise.
that's why I Want Terrible Things. We're gonna go on second, and then then after a break, Andy can go on, and then that way I get a break.
Yeah.
Breather.
Yeah.
Shit,
I'm sorry I'm not giving you a break, Andy, but
I don't need one. I'm ready.
yeah.
Oh,
I
man.
know you're a badass.
Listen to this guy, like a spry 42-year-old. So Fred, terrible. Who plays first?
The band Amora from Philly. That's
Okay.
on my label. They're like almost like a hardcore melodic post hardcore band.
Awesome. And
they're
then Terrible
really
Things.
cool.
Oh, I have no doubt. And then Terrible Things plays. Then little break there, clear whatever we got to do. Andy is going to go up and play. Then you're doing the whole Bend a Break record.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm really excited just to get together and rehearse the shit and just be around you guys. I miss you guys.
Miss you too, man.
Miss you too.
Been too long, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick, dude.
I'm excited. I really am. I know a lot of people are excited too.
I know, dude. I can't believe how many calls I've gotten about this fucking show. Tons of people. Are there tickets? Is it sold out? I mean, I have gotten more calls about this show than like.
I think Gay from Hot Rod's gonna come down too.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Tons of Coheed fans are traveling to the show, but they already have their tickets. Like, so tickets are obviously available.
We've sold a bunch of tickets.
I'm excited to play with you guys, whether there's 100 people or 600 people.
I'm excited to jam on the day before all day, you know?
Yeah, no, me too. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to rehearsal.
Hours or something before the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Just like old times.
I bet you could see how little